This dark mirror houses many secrets. It has a reputation as the Mirror of Twilight, a portal between two worlds. The Twilight Mirror has a dark and depressing history filled with violence, aggression, and murder. Countless criminals were convicted of crimes against Hyrule or the royal family, and were banished to the Twilight Realm using this mirror. But it gets destroyed, and Midna is the last one to use it to leave the world of Hyrule. But the question is, will Midna ever return, and will we ever see the Twilight Mirror again? I have some new answers for this that you probably haven't heard before. The Mirror of Twilight. This mirror was created by the golden goddesses Din, Nehru and Faeror to banish the Interlopers to the Twilight Realm for attempting to establish dominion over the Triforce using dark magic. The descendants of the banished Interlopers came to be known as the Twilight. The mirror serves as a link between the Twilight Realm and Hyrule, allowing beings to travel between the two worlds. The Mirror of Twilight sits atop the Arbiter's ground in a private chamber of its own, known as the Mirror Chamber. When activated, it projects the image etched into the mirror's surface onto a slab of rock facing it, forming stairs for a being to step up onto if they voluntarily wish to enter the Twilight Realm. At the end of Twilight Princess, we can see that Midna leaves through the portal and destroys it. Does this mean that we will never see her again? Well, no, there are ways she could return. Zen traveled to Hyrule without using the mirror, so it's possible. But there are already millions of theories about that possibility. I have something new which could explain how Midna and the mirror could return in every single timeline and upcoming game. Now let's start with a very important event that we see in Twilight Princess, the Interloper War. Hyrule was created by the golden goddesses Din, Nehru and Faeror. After the goddesses were finished with Hyrule, they created another parallel world known as the Sacred Realm. Before departing the realm, the golden goddesses left behind the 3 golden triangles filled with their power. These 3 triangles, when put together, would become a larger triangle, known as the Triforce. After this, Hyrule was at peace for a number of years. The legend of a supreme power spread across Hyrule, causing a great war over the location of the Sacred Realm. During this war, the tribes skilled in dark magic, known as the Dark Interlopers, attempted to establish dominion over the Sacred Realm and establish their power using the fused shadow. Ordered by the golden goddesses, the light spirits intervened. They sealed away the great magic those individuals had mastered and splintered it, so it would become the fragments of the fused shadow hidden in the temples of Hyrule. The goddesses chased the interlopers across Hyrule and banished them to the Twilight Realm, using the Mirror of Twilight. Descendants of the interlopers became the Twilight, doomed to live as mere shadows in the Twilight. Now this story bears similarities to the Era of Chaos, which occurred sometime after the events of Skyward Sword. It was never confirmed, but everything fits perfectly. It could be that it all happened at the same time. If this is true, then it would open up the door to anything, since the Twilight Mirror must have been around for ages, even before the events of the Minish Cap. This would mean that the Twilight Mirror is in every time split. The adult timeline, the downfall timeline, and of course the child timeline. Another piece of evidence for this is seen in Ocarina of Time, where we see the Spirit Temple mirror, which could be the Twilight Mirror. This large round mirror is found in the Spirit Temple and grants Link access to the chamber of the temple's boss, Twin Rova. This mirror is also housed in a place theorized to have eventually become the Arbiter's Ground. Some believe that the Spirit Temple was the original home of the Mirror of Twilight following the end of the Hyrulean Civil War, and that it was kept there until the Gerudo fell out of grace with the Hyrulean royal family after Ocarina of Time. This is supported by what appears to be ruins of a fortress seen near the entrance to the Gerudo Desert in Twilight Princess, about where the Gerudo's fortress should have been, which appeared to have been destroyed either by invasion, time, or both. This would account for the race's disappearance by the time of Twilight Princess, as well as the Arbiter's Ground identical location and similar appearance to the Spirit Temple. As a result, their Spirit Temple is theorized to have been seized and renovated to hold enemies and prisoners of the royal family of Hyrule, and the Mirror of Twilight was rediscovered during this event. This is supported by Ayanuma's statement that Ganondorf's execution took place several years following the end of Ocarina of Time. The arbiters' grounds were also shown to have been completed at the time of Ganondorf's execution. After the temple's renovation and renaming as the arbiters' ground, the Mirror of Twilight was put to use, banishing those prisoners not sentenced to death by the King of Hyrule to the Twilight Realm, where the interlopers had been banished in the past. The mirror in the Spirit Temple, aside from being a round mirror, does not resemble the Mirror of Twilight, and would have to undergo some modification before its appearance in Twilight Princess. The mirror might have lost its power after all those years of not being used, so they had to modify it to make it work again. This would mean that the Mirror of Twilight is also in the other timelines, but probably got lost somehow. It might return in any upcoming games at any point. Ganondorf could always use it in a similar way. This would also mean that Midna could return in the series. We might even see her in the new game Breath of the Wild. After all, she said at the end of the game, "See you later," indicating a return. And there's a good possibility that she knows about the multiple timelines. The mirror was created before the split, and it's a separate dimension, so technically you could travel from any timeline to the same Twilight Realm, since the Twilight Realm never had a time split as far as we know. So it's completely separate from the timeline. Maybe Midna destroyed the other mirrors in the other timelines as well, but we don't know this for certain. They say when you stare long enough in the mirror, you will see something cool. Something awesome. Wait. Loot Crate! Loot Crate is a unique monthly box of awesome for every fandom, enthusiast group and style. Like Loot Crate Gaming, with this month's theme being Battleground. Rise up from the ashes with Battleground. Defeat your enemies and gain exclusive items from Fallout, Gears of War, Dead Rising, Dark Souls and a retro title, Battlezone. And they have even more types of crates, like the anime crate, or the normal crate, with superheroes as this month's theme, like Iron Man and Batman. So go check it out by going to www.trylootcrate.com/Dr.Wily and use the code BRIDGE10 to get 10% off. Link is in the description down below. And you also help me out with making better content for all of you. And life costs money, and the same goes for a new intro and end card. Great that you watched the entire video. If you want to watch more, click the annotations on the screen right now. And if you don't want to miss anything, just subscribe. And don't forget to show Loot Crate some love.